This video is going to be absolutely crazy. I have been given access to the police helicopters courtesy of NPAS. We have been given special privilege to look around, check them out, sit inside and give you all the facts and figures that you want to know. So if you want to know more, stay tuned and watch the video. To know more about this fantastic machine, it's Lottie. Lottie,
hello.
How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So Lottie's been in the police 16 years?
Yeah.
And you've been on NPAS how long?
About 10 years now.
About 10 years. Right, first of all, for everyone out there that doesn't know, what is NPAS?
It's the National Police Air Service, so it's basically an IRV but in the sky. So we go to any jobs that we can help with and catch criminals and essentially assist PCs on the ground.
How did you get to be on NPAS?
Go
on, what's funny?
I was on Hackney Response and it got me out of an early turn. It was an open day, so I thought, do you know what, have a bit of an easy day.
Right.
Came up here, loved it. The base is amazing, the people were great, the job was unbelievable. I had no idea that police officers could fly in a helicopter day to day, so I loved it and applied and just kept on getting through. And I was just a response officer, and now I'm here.
And now you're in special ops doing this.
Yeah.
What people can't see is, I know it's a bit of a windy day, but it's beautiful, and you've got a fantastic view of London.
Yeah.
Centre down there as well. So what's it feel like now? Call comes in to be able to jump in this. And literally, we're going to give you a view of that in a bit.
Yeah.
To be able to literally take off and then go across towards city centre.
It's a rush, it's great. It still hasn't lost its appeal to me. I know I'm so fortunate and I think this is the best job I'm ever going to have, not just in policing but in my whole life, which is why I've stayed here as long as I can. It's just great, and to know that we are still helping officers is good. You know, bet your dollar that if you hit your emergency button, we're running to the helicopter to help you, because we might be able to offer something to someone, even if it's just evidence.
Yeah.
I always think that if I'm in a roll around or if I'm in a fight and I can hear the helicopter above me, it might just give me that little bit of extra push to keep fighting, because we can then get people to you. So at the bottom line, that's all I kind of have in my mind when I go to jobs, is that, yeah, we want to catch the criminals or find the mispers, but we also want to help officers that are asking for it.
So basically, what we should be saying to people, it shouldn't be saying police on site, it should be saying hope. Because the idea being is, I've been there with you, I've been there at one of those code zeros when I've been attacked, and I know what it's like when you think it could be 30 seconds away, but it feels like 10 minutes when you're laying there or you're wrestling with someone, and there's a difference. I once heard a Volvo coming down the road, and I thought, I can hear my friends coming.
Yeah.
So when you hear this, you can hear it from miles away, you can hear the I don't know why I did it, what's that? But you can hear the rumble in the skies of it coming towards you. That must be brilliant for officers.
That's what we hope, and like I said, if we can help in some way, we will. And I think that's felt with everyone across all the teams here.
So when you've landed, how many people have been in this and what are their roles?
So today it was 3 police officers and 1 pilot. Sash is our pilot, with Andrew in the front, Luke in the back, and I'm in the pack seat in the back. That's how we call it.
You're in the back?
Yeah, in the back.
Not the front back?
No, the back. I'm there primarily as just a troubleshooter. Luke's one of our newer officers who's just passed his TAC Commander's course, so it's a bit of reassurance for him if he's got any issues. Not that he would, but he can always ask someone who's a bit more qualified, a bit more experienced, and also primarily there for another pair of eyes. So if we're looking for Durons or 2-up mopeds or anyone who's maybe made off from a pursuit, you've got an extra pair of eyes that is sort of not really doing much, so my sole purpose would just be to look out and see if I can see him.
So take us through each role then. So you've got a pilot, we know, lifts it, flies it, lands it, does everything else.
Yep.
So the person in the front seat passenger, what are they then?
They're OBS 1 or TFO 1. They are an assistant to the pilot, and the pilots will love that we've said that, but we help them with takeoff checks, after takeoff checks, pre-landing checks. If there's an emergency in flight, we can help them with getting some emergency cards out so that they know their initial actions. But also the primary role of the front TFO is navigation, so we nav off of Met Geographias or Collins books as they are now, out of a paper map. So before all the kit can fire up, it's the front TFO's responsibility to get us to roughly where we're going.
Hold it as Z technique kind of thing. Look for that mast on the hill.
Whatever it is.
That's where we're going.
Wembley, wherever, And it can be quite tricky, especially by night.
Yeah.
But we are trained. It's one of our major things that we're trained in. And we do practice it, especially the newer officers up here. We practice now.
Yeah.
And, you know, until that sort of 2 or 3 minutes till all the mapping's up and ready, that's primarily on the front TFO to get us in the right direction.
Right. And obviously your colleague, can I just say as well, the gentleman in the front seat is PC what's his last name?
Lawless.
He's a PC and he's called PC Lawless. You can't write that, can you? So the gentleman there, obviously, what's he do? Is he the TAC commander, you said then? So he's TPAC and that sort of thing?
So no, it's nothing to do with policing skill or courses, shall I say. The TAC commander is the commander of the whole aircraft, so the pilot flies the aircraft and is in control of it and tells us if it's safe and legal to fly.
Right, okay.
Everything else falls on the TAC commander, so what we go to, how we get there, when we get there, what jobs we list and prioritise first.
Right,
so
okay.
Everything else is down to us. So I could say, let's go to Wembley via Newham, and the pilot would be like, well, that's ridiculous, I can fly straight there, but it's the TAC commander's choice, they can go that way.
So they're a bit like FSUP then, they're in control of the jobs, the list of everything that's going to be going on.
Yeah.
Everything basic, we might be needed over here, they'll prioritise it and say, pilot, can you take me here, can you take me there?
Exactly that. So what will happen is Luke today, so our TAC commander will say to Andrew, take me to Newham. And it's as simple as that, and how it should work and how it does work on our team is Andrew will then nav out of his book to Newham while Luke is getting all the details, putting it in the mapping system and getting us a more precise location.
Right.
So that's kind of how it should work.
For you, what's your best jobs? Is it pursuits? Is it MISPAs? Is it getting low and down with Surons? How do you help the task force with the Surons, the crime that's happening in London?
Yeah.
You've just had a big smile on your face. What for you is the Gucci jobs?
I do like pursuits.
This is my Golf GTI, and before I bought this, I searched far and wide for one of these cars because after 20 years in the police, so many of these have been smashed up. But before I bought it, I did a check with Car Vertical. Car Vertical, an online site which is really easy to use. You put your registration plate in and it'll bring you details of the vehicle back to find out if it's been clocked, any outstanding finance, if it's been stolen, recovered, or any damage. Best thing about Car Vertical is if you look for the vehicle and nothing's found, you reserve your credits to use next time. If you want to use Car Vertical, use discount code Interceptor for 20% off. This is a report for my car. As you can see, it's all green. There's no financial issues. It's not been stolen and it's not been clocked. However, look at this. This is a car like for like. This Golf R, you can put it in and look at the pictures it's brought up. Would you want to spend £40,000 on this car knowing it's got this damage? Thank you, Car Vertical, for doing what you're doing. And if you want to use Car Vertical, everyone, use discount code Interceptor for 20% off or use all the links in the bio.
Because they're fun, you get a massive rush. I love finding burglars. I was burgled as a kid. My home was burgled. And there's just something about getting a burglar, especially if they're hiding in a garden.
Yeah.
You know, guiding a dog in or seeing the dog detain them. There's something I find quite pleasing about that. But then it is really rewarding if you find a MISPA or an elderly person who's just lost their way.
Yeah.
So they all have their own different merits. I think it is job by job. Some pursuits are really boring and slow and they just end and there's no good fun.
Yeah.
Some of them are just, you know, absolutely phenomenal and you think, I can't believe like we've just been involved in that.
Yeah.
But it's everything for me. I like a range of things.
Would you say it's putting down a sense of achievement and putting something back into the community, knowing you've got a good result?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And you can tell the jobs where the officers are hungry for it.
Yeah.
And they really want the Suron, they really want the robber or the burglar or whatever it might be. And you know, if there's a MISPA and they're with the family and they're like, they have nowhere else to go, they have nowhere to search, and we just think, well, we'll help. And if we can find them, for me, yeah, it's lovely just making it a bit easier for the officers to be with the family or the victims and things like that.
Right, fantastic.
And I think especially as well, like they can, well, I think they can, people can hear if the helicopters are talking on the radio because of the sound difference.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
And I think if you're a victim again and you hear that and you think, do you know what, they've sent a helicopter, so they're taking me seriously, or you know, they're actually looking for my nan or whatever.
Right.
I think that's really nice.
Take us through this. I know this is the Night Sun, but take us through it for all the members of the public out there that don't know. Take us through what it is, what it does, and how good it is.
So it's a Night Sun. I think it's the SX16. It's
not the 15?
Not the 15, no.
Right, no, we don't do the 15 anymore, do we?
No, so it's gone. It's actually quite old. I think it's as old as the helicopter's, about 20 years. It's pilot or mainly pilot controlled. We can control it as the attack commander control it with a controller, but up is down and down is up.
Yep.
And so it's really confusing. So it's just easier for the pilot just to fly with it because we're obviously police officers and we can't figure that out.
So you said that, I did. You led that in.
Yeah. I think it equates to something like 40 million candles or something.
That's bright then.
Really bright. It does, or the rumour has it, that it would melt like tarmac if it was on the ground and pointing to the floor.
So don't stand in front of it.
Don't stand in front of it, but we wouldn't have it on this low.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It would definitely hurt your eyes. And I don't know if you've ever been involved in it, but we can have it as quite a wide area. So we're generally lighting up an area, or we can have it as a spotter.
Pinpoint, yeah.
It's not as so the rest of NPAS have newer Night Suns and they link to our camera.
Right.
So that's obviously a lot easier because as you move the camera, the Night Sun just follows where the camera's looking. So that's really helpful for especially officers that work in the counties where there's very little light, there's no light references, so the pilot is only flying off where the camera's looking at. So in pitch black, that's really difficult.
Right.
So if you have the Night Sun following where the camera is, the pilot knows roughly where to fly because they know where we're looking. Especially if you find someone or something that needs to be looked at, the pilot can pinpoint it.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, we would have to do it manually.
But apart from that, that's what you need in pursuits. That's when we've had pursuits that go off-road and you've zoomed in and you've got it and we can see it from 3 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's the Batman beam from the sky.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
And it's come find us, this is where we are, this is where your bad guys are.
That's it, yeah.
Right, so big camera.
Yeah.
That is not your Canon, let's go on holiday, take a few snaps to someone and download it, is it?
No, it's not. It's MX-15.
An MX-50?
MX-15 1.5.
15. So we used to do an MX-14, but we got rid of them, didn't we?
Well, it's old, but it still works really well. It's got, well, this one in particular has got a thermal camera, which is the bottom, the big one here. Got your wide angled lens and then your narrow angled lens, so spotter scope effectively. Thermal camera obviously picks up heat. Yep. It displays on our camera in a grey scale, so from white to black.
Yes.
And we can change it to depend on what we're looking at. So if we can change it to white's hot or black's hot. So in certain circumstances and certain areas, white hot has a better contrast. Yes. And then sometimes black hot does, so we can change it between. And then all the heats in between will just display as a different type of grey. Yeah. So you'll see every type of material that you can possibly think of will have a different heat signature, and we'll be able to see, you know, cobbled stones. You can see puffer jackets where the threading is sort of a different material, holds a different thermal signature. Right. So we can pick up quite a lot from the thermal camera. Because we have it where we're going to try and link in a load of footage as well with the chat about the helicopter. But we've had it where we've been looking at pursuits we've had, and like, the criminal's white running through a black field, and then you might alter it and then the criminal turns black. Yeah. So obviously we know the reasons why. Yeah. Can it pick up heat as in like when you used to watch Predator? I've never seen it. But the heat source is in that way, the thermal heat source is in that way, or is it just strictly black and white, white and black? No, it's just black and white for this one, white and black. It's just a grey scale. You can obviously get thermal cameras in a colourful scale, but we just work grey. Our camera has to cool down. The thermal camera has to cool down, and so that cover helps it cool. Right. So we pump it with gas, and then it's called purging. We pump it with loads of cold gas, and then that gets released into the camera as we get airborne, and after about 3 or 4 minutes, hopefully, we get the thermal imagery that comes through. Right. So all that casing just all helps with that. Right, okay. Am I okay to have a look inside? Yep. And last but not least, just while we're on this side talking, and you probably show me from that side, but how dangerous is it getting out of the helicopter? Because you see it on movies, everyone's got to duck down, and then don't walk behind, and don't walk to. So how dangerous it is? Obviously, you can see them sagging down and this sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not, as long as you're aware of where you are. We would say you never as a passenger, you would never go behind the door, so don't go anywhere behind there. There's no reason for you to go there anyway. We have to, just as our walk round. So when we take off, we do a 360 walk round, make sure we've got nothing snagged, everything's like put up, there's no doors open. So we would go round, but fairly safe. I mean, the only thing you have to consider is if you land in a field to help with first aid or detaining someone, that if you're on a slope, you're obviously going to be closer to the rotor blades.
But say I'm 6'2", maybe 6'3", I'm 6'1". No. Obviously I will be able to get out and walk stood up past.
Yeah, of course you would, You can see it is, the blades do move in the wind, and when they start up they do actually go quite a lot, but we would never allow you to come towards the aircraft while that's happening. The pilot is in complete control of that, so you literally stand there like a sack of spuds with your thumb up, and they ignore you, and you just stood there, and then eventually when they think it's safe or where they're happy for you to approach the aircraft, they give you a thumbs up, and that means you're
come
safe
straight in, no messing about. Get in, get your seatbelts on, and someone do a check like you said. That's it.
They would never put us in danger like that.
So there's no point me sitting in the front and pressing buttons because I don't know what I'm pressing, and I don't want to like dump a load of fuel out and make something drop off. So Lottie's in the front. So Lottie, can you just give the people that are watching now a rough idea of what you're looking at and what's technically in the front?
Yeah, certainly. So basically all the police officer cares about is the screen ahead of them. We've got our hand controller here for the camera, which looks a bit complicated, but it's not. It's fairly simple to use. And then we've got our map books in the door of the aircraft.
Proper old Raiders heads, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, let's hope he's done this right, because this would be embarrassing.
Can you find me Princess Street in Croydon, please? Page 132.
I could probably try.
A13.
Yeah, I mean, you're testing me now. But what we do is we mark up major airports, any landmarks that we want to. So when they finish their initial training, they come to a team. So how me and my colleague Craig, we would normally train up a new TFO, is just say most pages should have a landmark on there that you're happy with.
Yes.
So you can nav to each page.
Yeah.
So this would be like Hampstead Heath, for example, so you'd be able to see that out the window, you'd be able to nav there. So most pages would have somewhere that Andrew, who's the front seat TFO, would be able to and feel comfortable navving to.
Yeah. Right.
So that's that. It's pretty old school there.
What's the foot control for?
So this one here, that's our PTT. So push to talk. So we listen to 6 radios all at the same time. 2 of them are air traffic and 4 of them are police. And the front TFO can at any time transmit on any of those radios. That's primarily to help sort of offload the rear TFO or the TAC commander if they're super busy on one channel. The front TFO can take another channel and sort of update people. Or
does everyone listen to 6 channels? So you can, I'll do 1 and 2, you can do 3 and 4, or does everyone literally just jump in where they can do?
So our team anyway, and how we're trained at this base, is we would listen to all the channels all the time. The front TFO will have probably more of an ear on air traffic because we are that assistant to the pilot. So if we're looking for another aircraft that's airborne, it will come over the air traffic channel. The front TFO has an expectation to sort of have an idea of what's going on, whereas the rear TFO, because all of their decision making is based on the police tasks, they might come off air traffic for a little bit and just rely on that trust with the teamwork that the front TFO and the pilot will go, there's a helicopter out here, can we have a look? So then at that point, we all eyes out, we stop working, find the helicopter, make sure it's safe, and then we can carry on working.
Right, Lottie, we're looking back at helicopter. Can you just give us an idea of what the screens are? Obviously, is it radio comms? You've got a screen up here, just so obviously members of the public can go, wow, that's a police helicopter, this is what they do. No worries.
So we've got 2 screens, the touch screen, and that will display, one will have our map on it, and the other one will have whatever the camera's looking at. You can have them whichever way around. And then you've got here, which is the small keyboard, which drops down, and that's how we input all the addresses and things like that. So we have GPS in the camera, and then GPS obviously linked to the mapping. So at any point, if the camera is looking at something on the ground, it will send the GPS coordinates to the mapping, and then likewise we can send GPS coordinates from the map to the camera.
Yes, I get it.
So in effect, if we lifted out of here and our mapping was working straight away, I could put in number 1 Station Road in Glasgow, if there is one. And
that's a random address. You go.
And essentially, it's called slew, so you'd slew the camera, and that would fix upon those GPS coordinates. And so even though you wouldn't be able to see it, you'd be able to, yeah,
a bit like, I'm not saying it would be a missile, but a bit like you don't have to see it, you can put it in and it'll just guide you there anyway.
Yeah, definitely. So, and it's really useful, especially for open area searches. So if we're looking for MISPAs in large areas, we can be searching parks from miles away, so that when we're there, we can then start getting into the real like horrible bits, so like the undergrowth and stuff, but we can clear the major areas.
So would what 3 words work?
So no, it's because this is such an old system, it predates what 3 words.
Right, okay.
But we do carry iPads, which we would be able to...
What 3 words?
Yeah, input what 3 words.
So what 3 words is very important if people don't know what it is. 3 words around the world. They're all different words. And if you get lost or whatever, download the app. You can put it in what 3 words. You ring the police, ring the ambulance, and I'm at banana Glasgow milkshake, and it'll give you exact plot in the world. You can ring up and say someone's lost at banana Glasgow milkshake, and it'll take you exactly where. So what 3 words, very important.
Definitely, especially in the counties. Obviously we've got quite old helicopters and tech from just that we only work in the Met. A lot of the county aircrafts, they have a more updated tech and better mapping systems, so they would be able to use what 3 words, which is probably better if you're in the middle of a field. It's a bit more accurate than what would we need in London. Is just use a street name.
And then last but not least,
so this is it's called our silver screen. So on large public order events, we have with us in the back the call sign Eagle 1, and they are primarily maybe a inspector and above, and they are TACADs or public order in the public order cadre, where they direct public order assets from the air. So we flip the screen down, which I can do in a minute. It will come down into the aircraft. And especially things like Notting Hill Carnival, they can look out of the window. If they see crowd starbursting, things like that, they can just direct us straight to it. They can see all the yellow jackets out the window. They can direct what they need to exactly where they need it. And we have that more or less every Notting Hill and every large pre-planned public order situation.
Best event you've ever worked?
Oh, Platytube.
Really?
Yeah.
Saw some things,
So good.
Right, look at grin on your face.
Yeah. So we have a grion.
What?
It's called a grion. Although,
keep me in.
Well, yes, it should do.
Don't let me fall rope.
No, or how Andrew says it, it's a brioche. Even
right.
though
all right.
So we have a grion, and we have harnesses that we can clip in, and we do open door photography. So for the Platytube, we had quite a few photographers up from the RAF and people like that. So we had some amazing photographs out the window, and I'm just sat there with my legs out.
No.
Yeah, just sat there over the Queen's house.
You're bad. I'll be absolutely petrified.
It was really good, and obviously the red arrows and the red arrows went underneath us. It was amazing. It was really
wow,
good.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, Lottie, thank you very much. I don't know if you can see. Look at Lottie's surname on there. What's your surname, Lottie?
Wookie.
It's brilliant, is that? Kudos for the name. Thank you very much, Lottie. It means a lot for you showing us. I know how privileged we are to be able to see the helicopter. You've got one of the best jobs I've ever seen, and I'm very jealous of that. I'd love to have done this, but obviously circumstances how they are. Keep doing what you do. Keep looking after people, and thank you very much.
Thank you. No problem.